It's like good old times here on a Wednesday evening. We used to do our Wednesday evening region weather lives, and they are back, at least this week. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We're almost there, right? It's the eve before Thanksgiving. I know a lot of people obviously getting those plans together. It's 5 o'clock Central Time. I get it. You're either getting home from work. Maybe you got home from work early, but you've got a lot of stuff on your checklist. So we're going to dive right into the broadcast. If it's our first time meeting, I'm meteorologist Matt Wentz for region weather. We've got a lot to talk about in terms of not just this cold air and the wind that we have right now, but we're going to fast forward to the weekend. I know a lot of you have plans and you want to know exactly how this is going to kind of shape up for your Saturday and Sunday plans around here. All right, first and foremost, we talk about who we're thankful for. I'm thankful for all of our sponsors. A lot of them have been with us for 2 to 3 years, which is just awesome. We've got a great family of sponsors up above us. They are all, or up above me, they're all local. They're all moms and dads that work right here in the region, and they do amazing work in their different trades. Earl's Heating and Air Conditioning. You guys need anything done furnace-related wise, go to Earl's. PSA, that's publicserviceadjusting.com. Those are our insurance claim folks that if you have an insurance claim, you bring them out. They'll document everything, check with your insurance company with all the rules and what kind of insurance thing you have, and then they'll submit everything to your insurance company, and they'll work on your behalf to get top dollar. They won't take lowball answers. They're amazing. Publicserviceadjusting.com. Romansroofing.net if you need any windows, gutters, siding, or roof. Yeah, they do that too. They do great work, especially with this recent wind that we've had. Might want to check on that roof. Some of those shingles may be blowing off. We'll see. Halcyon Water Solutions, the place to go for all your water needs. They do water softening, filtration, delivery, salt delivery, all that stuff. They're great. Minogue.life. Michael Minogue is our expert in the world of life insurance, Medicare, Medicaid. If you guys have any questions around the new stuff coming our way in 2026, you don't want to be kind of automatically enrolled in a plan. He does no cost consultations. He does an amazing job. He knows his stuff. Minogue.life is a website there. Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage. If you're in need of a new house, she's certainly the one to do it. She does great work. She's just fun to work with, and she does a great job. She'll get you top dollar for your house. She'll get as much off as the new house as you can, and she also does refinancing too. You can check her out on Facebook, Kate Cusack Home Loan Girl. TigerPlumbing.net for all your plumbing needs. There are amazing plumbers here in the region. They were one of our first sponsors. They're just awesome. I love working with Jeff and team. So happy Thanksgiving to them. FBIbuildings.com if you need a new pole barn renovated, perhaps they'll do that. They've done over 20,000 of them in the Midwest. If you need one constructed, residential, commercial, they do both. They do amazing structures. You should see their stuff on Facebook. They do great work over there. And then speaking of the wind that we've had, if you guys have any wind damage or any trees down or anything like that, go to T&T Tree Service. They're awesome. When it comes to tree removal, experience matters, and they have that experience. They value safety, integrity, professionalism. I mean, they are so professional. Like, they don't mess around, right? They come in, even dangerous trees that are in bad spots next to electrical wires, they'll do it. They do great work, and they're local here to Valparaiso. So give them a call, 219-300-6256, or visit them at ttreeservice.com if this strong wind has taken down any of your trees. Finally, last but not least, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. Obviously, they've been around for a long time, and they do amazing work. Even for Thanksgiving, they're having a food drive. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and right there on US 30 in Valpo. All right, let's jump into the broadcast, shall we? We'll say hi to our early birds. We've got Rhonda on board. Hi, Rhonda. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Hi, Mark. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. Jeff's with us as well. Rhonda, thank you very much. I appreciate that. JD didn't get the leaves done yet. Uh-oh, JD. I didn't either. I did, but then more fell. So we'll see what happens here. Very windy, Vicky. Yes, absolutely. In fact, some of the wave heights on Lake Michigan I saw were approaching, 28 feet or something like that in spots. Incredible wind across the Great Lakes. It's just unbelievable. Darlene, thank you very much. Lynn, happy Thanksgiving Eve to you as well. Gail's with us. Susan, hello. Jerry, I appreciate that. You can listen to other forecasters. There's just a lot of garbage on social. This year is so much different than years past. Everyone's just taken, and we've talked about this, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but there's all these forecasters and just pages that have popped up, and they're just taking the model output that we've looked at for years that we usually don't say much about until it's responsible to do so. They're just taking model output, and they're putting it out 10 days in advance. In model output 10 days in advance, some of the models we look at will paint 15 to 30-inch snowfalls on us, and we can't say it's going to happen, right? And they're like, no, we're not saying it's going to happen. We're just trying to get clicks and shares. It's unbelievable. But anyway, a lot of garbage on social, so we'll sort it out for you. All right, we've got a lot of other people on board too, so let's dive in. All right, here's what we've got. Obviously, wind across the Great Lakes. I got a couple messages today asking when is this wind going to die down. It's going to be a slow process. We're starting to see it ease back. I know it's hard to tell. We'll have gusts probably 35 to 40 tonight, but it'll start to ease back a little bit tonight by about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then tomorrow's still a windy day, but not nearly the gusts that we had today, where we were cranking over 50 in spots. Tomorrow's wind, I think, anywhere between 20 and 30. Okay, so very windy today and tomorrow, but tomorrow less or so than today. That wind is starting to back off. And then it'll go a little bit lighter as we go on into Friday, and then it'll kick back up with this weekend storm. But this is by and large the windiest system that we have over the next 5 to 7 days. Okay, this is a deep area of low pressure to our north. So you can see it here on the satellite. There's your low, big old spiral. All right, we were on the warm side very early in the morning. I was up and I was going to post when that front was moving through at 3 a.m. But I figured I didn't think anyone would be up, so we just saved that. But it was nice and warm very early in the morning, and then that temperature crashed, and you could see all this stratocumulus clouds with the cold air, and then we've got the moisture coming in, kicking off the lake effect. We've had a general snow shower activity across the region today. That's very typical when cold air masses come in. It's not very problematic. But now we're starting to see some better organization to the lake effect band. So if you do have travel plans, and I just want to cover this briefly, if you do have travel plans out east, we'll talk about that, where that lake effect is and how much with this event, okay? Then that heads by, we get just a very brief break. That's about it. This system's bringing the cold air in. And then the next system we're watching is just off the west coast. That's where the low pressure is. This system off the west coast will traverse the country. You can see the flow. It will follow that flow across the country. It's got a good dose of Pacific moisture with it, and it will come in here with some accumulating snow as it looks right now. We've been looking at this. It's kind of gone back and forth, and what's interesting is, when everyone was putting it out on social, it was saying, 15, 20 inches of snow was a big deal. And I said it's not responsible to talk about this yet. I mean, we can say there's snow potential, but we're not going to talk totals. And then it was interesting because I think it was this morning's model run or late last night, came in with more rain, and the totals went away for Northwest Indiana. And a lot of folks on social, that are not on the hype crew were like, ha, hypers, this went away. Where are you now? And it's interesting because the models have kind of flipped back. So now we're looking at a decent amount of snow again. Okay, so that's kind of what we're seeing. So let's talk about this system. I want to start big picture on this. This is how it kind of evolves and comes in. Off the west coast now, area of moisture comes through. Thanksgiving is going to be wet for Seattle down towards Portland. Mountain snow is going to be heavy up in the Cascades. Sierra Nevada is out of miss this one, but Cascades are going to get some good snow from this. And then we get this big strip of snow. This is Friday out towards our west. We'll have snow in Montana. It'll be heavy out there and windy. There's cold air with this as well. And then you get this leading edge here, almost along kind of a warm frontal boundary as this low gets going. Okay, it's kind of overriding the whole system. So that little strip of snow is what we're going to be watching on radar. This is very early Saturday morning, and it's not going to be, we're going to have quite a bit of moisture in place already. All right, we're not going to have bone dry air in here. So it'll take just a little bit of time to saturate from the top down, but I do expect it to start snowing pretty quickly once this arrives. I don't think, a lot of times with winter storms, when we get an Arctic air mass in here, it takes quite a while for that snow to reach the ground. It has to saturate the air. I don't think we're going to have much of a problem doing that in a hurry with this system. Again, lots of Pacific moisture with it. Once this low develops and heads out into Oklahoma and Kansas, now the Gulf is involved. So we've got Pacific moisture, we've got Gulf moisture. Bottom line, it's a winter system that has a lot of moisture with it. And a lot of times that's something that maybe we're lacking. There's not enough connection with the Gulf. You get some Arctic streamer in here or a clipper system. There's not a ton of moisture with it. This one will have a good dose of that. And so as a result, that snow continues to work in. This is Saturday morning. We're now up to Saturday afternoon. Lows really deepening fast. So wind is starting to pick up. Biggest wind issues are going to be on the backside and northern end of this. So we'll have a bit of a breeze starting to develop Saturday, but it won't crank until this low starts to head by. And look at the snow. So we've got a decent stream of Pacific moisture and Gulf moisture coming in. And then it flips over where it hits that cold air. And there's going to be a period of some just moderate to heavy snow that's persistent just north of that low, and it's widespread. And that's the problem with the snow, is we're looking at a widespread snow. This isn't lake effect, all right? This is going to take out, I'm talking Iowa road crews, all right? They got to cover the whole state. They don't have to cover a couple roads in a small lake effect area. And this is do the same thing even for Indiana and Illinois. and up towards Wisconsin. So this is going to be a big system in terms of the real estate that it's going to take up with the amount of heavy snow. That's Saturday. You can see how we're getting into it. Bulk of it's west of us, but we're still getting snow. And then there you go. That is the sweet spot right there. And the latest Euro run this evening takes us right through that sweet spot. What do I mean by that? With a winter storm, where you want to be if you want heavy snow is just north or northwest of the low pressure center itself. Wherever that low exactly tracks, just north of that is where you get the heaviest band of snow typically. And this low goes right through central Illinois, right through northwest Indiana, and there's going to be some real heavy snow. See those dark blues, models kind of picking up on that trend on the northern end of that. Could there be some pockets of dry air? Whenever we look at the models, it looks like this solid chunk of snow, and you're like, wow, we're going to get walloped. There tends to be, when it actually happens, there tends to be some holes in the snow where it's moderate, and then it kind of flashes into light. So it's not going to be, persistent heavy snow band that moves through for the majority of the system. But this right here is the time frame to watch. And when is this, you ask? This is Saturday evening into Saturday night. Okay, that's when I think this stuff has the potential to get pretty heavy around here. And then it moves out. Sunday, big travel day. There's a chance that this low goes a little bit further north that we would bring some rain mix into it. Okay, this is going to be a wet snow. I'm going to get more into the details in a second. We're still going big picture, but we're looking at kind of a wet, heavy snow with this, especially as that low approaches. More moisture content, temperatures are going to come up to about the freezing mark, and that's how you get some of your heavy, wet snow with the big old flakes. I mean, we're looking at big flakes with this one. And then on the backside, those flakes will get smaller as colder air works in, and it would become a little bit more fluffier, and we would have a driving wind with temperatures falling down on Sunday. Sunday looks like the snow will hang on at least for the first half of the day. I do have us clearing out in the afternoon and evening, but if that snow lingers any longer, it's going to prolong that cleanup, and we would have a rough travel day on Sunday with just snow on the roads and on the ground. Okay, that moves on out, and then we have a very active pattern next week. However, next week there are several storm systems, but none of them get their act together. None of them phase with the northern and southern stream. And so this one kind of tries to get going here, may bring some snow showers in Monday night into Tuesday. As of right now, Euro has it missing us. It didn't last night. That heads east without phasing. Cold air is still in place. Another system comes in right there. This could be, if this were to happen, this is on the southern fringe of this Arctic air. This is next Wednesday into Thursday. If that were to happen, that could be a quick 1 to 3 incher. These tend to be impactful, these little ones that zip through. And then after that, another storm system there, another one here by Saturday. So that's 4 storms next week. None of them look huge after this weekend, but then look at this on the modeling. Another system comes in on Monday. That's 2 days later. Arctic air is sticking around, and then it just kind of hangs out for a little bit. There are some signs that maybe we warm up a little bit mid-December. Okay, that's not what we're here to talk about, but it does look like a cold start to the month for sure. All right, let's talk about details here. This system heads out. If you have travel plans, as I mentioned, actually, you know what? I'm going to move this tab. Let me talk wind first. I just want to show you the widespread winds that we have. I want to tackle tonight and tomorrow. Again, if you're traveling tomorrow morning for Thanksgiving, here's your wind speed. See how it starts to ease a little bit as that low pulls away, but we're still windy tomorrow. Gusts in the 20s and near 30. And then it doesn't really go away until Friday when the system moves in. We get kind of this sprawling area of high pressure that's elongated. So that would cause winds to really lighten up Friday night and Saturday before they start to pick up Saturday evening with that low approaching. Okay, and then in terms of lake effect snow tonight and tomorrow, it's out east. LaPorte County is getting clipped by this. I could see an inch or two in LaPorte, maybe a little bit more in northeastern half of the county. But if you have travel plans, this is tonight out east. We're expecting lake effect snow to continue. It's already ongoing out towards South Bend, southwest lower Michigan. Windy and snowy there, not the best to travel. And then you can see tomorrow as we go throughout the day, that lake snow starts to wind down a little bit, but there will be a couple big bands that develop from Lake Superior that go across Lake Michigan. If you have travel plans up into Michigan, there are going to be a couple bands of some pretty decent snowfall rates. And this band here in particular goes all the way over into northeast Ohio. So Cleveland area out east expected to get a foot plus of snow. And then you can see how maybe a couple flurries stick around tomorrow afternoon, just in that cold air, kind of that instability, but no big accumulations here locally from this event. In terms of how much snow we're expecting, I mean, look at that. Look at the lakes doing their thing. Downwind of Lake Superior and Lake Michigan here in northern Michigan, maybe 30 to 40 inches of snow, all right? We're talking anywhere from about 6 to 10. Grand Rapids, Traverse City, and then northeast Ohio, maybe 10, 15, some of the max totals out there. So big lake effect event around here. If you are traveling east, you know those lake effect zones, those areas are going to be impacted pretty decently by snow here over the next couple days. All right, so let's talk details of that weekend system again. Let's talk more detail in terms of timing. If you have Friday plans, we look fine. Okay, we'll be fine on Friday. Friday night looks good as well. Maybe you're doing, again, a Friendsgiving or something, or maybe the other side of the family, whatever it happens to be. Friday looks okay. Saturday morning, here we go. So we're now up to, this is when you're waking up. Well, you're probably not up that early, 6, 7, 8, okay, 9, 10. That's when the snow is expected to start working in. And if we get snow started here, this is just from experience seeing systems like this. A lot of times there's kind of an elongated band of snow out in advance of the storm system, kind of like what you're seeing here. Okay. If this gets going earlier than expected, that can up your snowfall totals to some of the max totals that we're going to look at here. Okay. So Saturday morning, what I'm going to have my eyes on is, when does this snow start? When does it finally start reaching the ground? Okay. If it's 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, we may have a long day of snow. All right. If it doesn't reach the ground till 11 or noon, then some of these totals are still going to be big, but it's not going to be the upper end that we're going to see here in the modeling. So that's one thing I'll have my eye on. And then the other thing is how much warm air gets into the system. This track can still change. It's Wednesday. Yes, we're 3 days out from this. That's why we can talk totals and stuff like that. But this track can still fluctuate a little bit. And if this low comes a little bit further north, you can see right there, it's coming right through areas down towards Lafayette. Overall, if it comes, another 20 miles north, that would bring some rain into the mix Saturday night into early Sunday, and that cuts down totals, obviously. Every hour that you're not getting 1 to 2 inch snowfall rates per hour, and you're getting rain instead, obviously that's cutting back 1 or 2 inches every hour. And so those are really the two things I'm going to be watching. Other than that, I mean, this looks like a good snow system. So Saturday by midday, here you go. This is midday in the early afternoon. Snow's starting to pick up. It'll likely be light to moderate, but it looks to be fairly steady. We may have some, I expect it to be kind of banded on radar as it moves in, and there might be some little stripes where it doesn't snow briefly, but it would fill back in. Okay. The other thing, just a side note, meteorologically with this system, what's going on, a lot of times the snowstorms that come in that are a bust, that we don't get good snow out of, we tend to have a northeast component as the low comes in. So low would be coming in from like Oklahoma or somewhere, and we'd have northeast wind coming in. And a lot of times when you have a northeast wind, it's bringing in drier air from Canada. And so the battle is with systems not like this one. Sometimes that snow comes in and it really has a tough time getting going until it's too late. And we don't get a lot of snow out of it because the dry air is eroding it. There's not a lot of dry air to speak of, and our wind is out of the southeast. So we're already bringing in a moisture-laden wind out of the Gulf instead of a northeast wind initially. And so, again, that's why I'm not too concerned. I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, I'm not too concerned about the development of snow initially. I think it'll start pretty quickly around here once it arrives versus kind of being patchy and coming and going for a little while. Okay, so low keeps going. There you go. This is by Saturday afternoon, still moderate, light to moderate at times. And then that rate really looks to pick up again Saturday evening into Saturday night, and that would continue into Sunday morning. Here's Sunday morning. Sunday morning's when it could mix with some rain, depending on the track. But either way, that Saturday evening, if you guys have plans Saturday evening, this is getting pretty locked in right now, okay? I mean, I always want to give you honest feedback on it. Is it too soon to talk about? Is it not? What could happen with this system, right? My challenge in meteorology, after being in it for so long, is it's not from, I mean, anyone can look at a model and say, hey, it's going to snow. I like to predict what the model is going to do next. All right. I'm trying to predict what the model is going to do tomorrow. That's the challenge that I have and where I'm trying to really get better in terms of forecasting. And, if the track changes, that would change things. But I don't see this changing much because there's a lot of consensus with models. And I do think we'll have a decent strip of snow that moves through here. And I do think it gets kind of heavy around here late Saturday into Saturday night. Okay. So if you have Saturday evening plans, I don't want to say forget about it, but I would really think twice about it. And one of the reasons why, again, is because this is not lake effect. This isn't a one county issue. This is everywhere. So INDOT is going to have their hands full. Okay. Plus it's a holiday. I mean, it's Friday into Saturday. That staff, I mean, they're going to, sure, they're probably going to load up their staff, but there's some people that aren't going to be working. All right. It's a holiday weekend. And I've noticed, from working in TV for a long time, coming in some of those holidays when I first started, when I was working every holiday. The plowing situation on holidays is a lot different than it is on a Monday through Friday stretch during a normal business week. And so, that being said, I think things go downhill, and I think it's going to get pretty tricky around here. And I usually don't say that, but I think that's going to happen on Saturday evening. Okay, Saturday afternoon's when it's going to get going. I think Saturday, if you were to draw a graph of our conditions, I think it's just going to be a straight down line. All right, as it just continues to get worse as that snow continues to fall. Okay, wind with this, it's going to be windy. This wind is not going to be off the charts with this, so I'm not personally looking at a blizzard with this. The snowfall rates are going to be enough to give you really low visibility. And again, it's going to be big old fat flakes is what we're looking at. It's going to be a beautiful snow. If you can stay home during this, or maybe you have family over, maybe they're going to stay an extra day or whatever it is. Hopefully you like them, number one. But number two, it's going to be beautiful snow to look at. I mean, this stuff's going to stick to the trees. It's going to look good, but it's not going to look good if you have to drive in it. All right, and then Sunday, again, little rain snow mix possible in the morning, depending on the track of that low. We'll update that over the next couple of days. And then on the backside, this is where the snow turns fluffier and when things get tricky once again, as we get a little fluff factor to it and a little blowing and drifting with it as well. We may have a lake enhanced band that sinks south. That's kind of what you're seeing in the modeling right here. See how there's that heavier band there. We'll have a northeasterly component to the wind. What that does, it's not lake effect, it's lake enhancement. And so what that is when you have snow already falling from a system, and then you bring the wind down the lake and you add moisture to that snow that's already falling. And so you enhance the snow. You can get some briefly heavier snow, kind of in a band like you expect lake effect, that would impact areas of Lake Porter and LaPorte counties at the end. So that could add another additional inch or two on top of what we would already get on Sunday afternoon. Okay, and then it winds down pretty quickly. I have it winding down the afternoon. Euro's a little bit slower here, so we'll see. We'll show amounts in a second. I do want to take a look at the GFS. I think the 18Z's in. I have not looked at this yet. So let's see if there's consensus in the modeling. GFS has been lower on the totals, and that's okay. We may come in lower in the totals, but let's plan high, right? We want to plan for the worst. GFS still has a decent storm. So here it comes. The GFS does not have that initial band coming in, but it is a little quicker on the arrival of this heavier stuff. You can see as we go through time, there you go. It's got a decent swap of snow coming through areas of Indiana, obviously. Low pressure not as deep on this latest run either, meaning that it wouldn't be quite as organized, so amounts would stay a little lower. But man, I have to go more so Euro on this winter storm with that deepening low and see how it kind of deepens it a little bit further east. So not quite as big of a storm on the GFS, but still a decent storm. I mean, that's still going to bring some good totals. Let's check the Canadian model, usually coming in line with the NAM. That brings in snow that ramps up pretty quickly in the afternoon. Heavy snow Saturday night, and then Sunday, pretty similar to the Euro, right? That comes through. All right, let's talk totals. Okay, take these with a grain of salt. We're still 3 days out. However, we can start to look at them, and we can start to respect some of these, okay? And then I'll give you my thoughts here at the end. So that's your lake effect event. Here we go. So watch how quickly this falls. So this is Saturday midday. We've got maybe an inch or two on the ground. And then by Saturday evening, we're talking we've added another 4 or so. And then here's the real heavy stuff. Look how quick that adds up going on into Sunday. So this is the latest Euro run. This, remember, went north, and it had not a lot of snow on us with a rain-snow mix earlier. Now it's back south again. And it's depicting a widespread area of 12 to 16, 17, 18 inches of snow, a few 20s in there with some lake effect thrown in. This 20-inch totals that you see out east, that's not all from the system. Now, a lot of that's from the lake effect that's falling now. So keep that in mind. But we're talking, a foot or more of snow is possible with this, and that is not over a localized area. It's widespread, and that's problematic. That is going to be the problem. There's going to be so much snow with this system all over the southern Great Lakes, wherever that low ends up. I mean, this is a huge area to clean up. That's a lot of snow to clean up for a huge area, and so kind of an interesting system. It's not a blockbuster low pressure that comes up with heavier stuff. It's a sneaky system, and I mentioned that this week on the TV side of things at my job. I was mentioning that to our team of meteorologists, is how this system's just very sneaky. It's one of those that we saw in the modeling a week ago, and it doesn't scream huge snowstorm, but there's a ton of Pacific moisture with it, with Gulf moisture. That combo is really going to ring out some snow as it looks right now. Let's look at the lower totals, though, okay? we tend to get fixated on these big numbers and say, oh my gosh, we're going to get 16, 17 inches of snow. It doesn't always happen that way, all right? Here's the GFS, okay? GFS has a general 6 to 8, maybe 9 in spots, okay? So let's consider that too. That's still a decent snow, all right, but that's not 16 inches, all right? But in terms of what really matters, it's about the impacts. And both of these storms are going to bring the same impacts. 8 inches of snow on the road and 16. I know there's a difference, but there's not really a difference. You really can't drive very well in it. And snow removal would just take a lot longer, obviously, with the bigger amounts. That's the GFS. The GFS has been pretty consistent with those amounts. The path's been a little different. And then here's your Canadian model showing anywhere from 8 to up to a foot in spots, but still some good totals out of this, and it's widespread. That's the thing, is how widespread it is. Let me look at National Blend. This is kind of a blend of all the major models. It has some weight on the ones that have been more accurate recently. And the National Blend has anywhere from 7 in our southern counties to 10, 11, maybe even a foot in our northern counties as of now. And this will shift a little bit. Keep that in mind. This is not the final forecast that you're going to see. Please don't let this be the final forecast you see. Stay tuned to the latest. Doesn't have to be from me, but from someone reputable that's not just tweeting out stuff like this, okay? But that's what we're looking at, all right, in terms of snowfall. I kind of like the National Blend right now. I honestly do, especially 3 days out. I don't like the huge totals. I don't like the low totals. I just kind of like the average between the two. I've combed through some of the ensembles, especially with the Euro. They are starting to align a little bit more, but some of them are still coming in lower, all right? So those high totals, are they attainable? Sure, especially if that snow's persistent and we get a big old band of heavier snow. But from experience, that typically has some breaks in it where the models don't pick up on that. But I kind of like this. Anyway, bottom line, who cares what exact total we end up with? There's an impactful storm coming on the way, and that's going to be Saturday. So go ahead. You guys can ask your questions now. Throw them in the chat. That's the whole point of this. You can talk to a meteorologist. How exciting. And then we'll get you on your way here on this Wednesday evening. My wife informed me that she has pumpkin pie ready for me upstairs. So if you guys can make it quick, that'd be great. She made 2 of them we're hosting tomorrow, and it's homemade. Everything's homemade in there. And we try to lean on the healthier side of things, and so we did. I think we did like dairy free. You can get some good food by going healthy. It doesn't mean you're ruining the food, but we think we might have ruined the pumpkin pie. She just didn't like it. It was kind of jello-y, but the kids are eating. You throw whipped cream on, it's fine. Also, what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving tomorrow? Are a lot of you? Here's what I really want to know. So here's a call out to you guys in chat before you go. And I ask this because I want to cater my forecasts that I do tomorrow for you folks. Are a lot of you traveling? Are a lot of you traveling on Saturday? Are you staying home? What's the travel situation like here tomorrow? And then what's the travel situation like this weekend? Are some of you out of town right now, waiting to know what it's like coming back? Just throw your situation in the chat. I want to know that for forecasting purposes, okay? Because if not a lot of you are traveling, I don't want to focus on the travel aspect for this, all right? I'll focus on more so here at home. So there's that. Okay? All right, so go ahead. Let's see what we got here. Kate Cusack's with us. Home loan girl. I'll be doing my snow dance as soon as all the family leaves. Yeah, that's the one bad thing. If you guys have in-laws coming in that maybe you don't want to stay too long, maybe bump up the time or something like that to your get-together. Maybe make it Friday, whatever it happens to be. So there's that. Debbie, great question. What's the ratio, she asks? So I'm looking at probably an 8-to-1 ratio down in our southern counties. Okay, that's where we're going to have more water content to the snow. So it's going to be heavier. It's going to be wetter the further south you get. But all of us, I think, will be in the 10-to-1, maybe 12-to-1 ratio as we go. It's going to change a little bit. We're going to have more moisture content when that low's coming up. And then on the back side, Debbie, I mentioned it's going to get a little fluffier, so those ratios will get a little higher. So we're looking at, for the folks that don't understand the ratios, that's okay. I like to break it down and make it simple. We're going to have a wet snow. Most of this is going to be wet and kind of heavy, so it'll compact a little bit. And then on the back side of it, we'll turn a little fluffier on Sunday as it's kind of wrapping up, okay? And that'll be a little bit more blowing and drifting component to it. Let me take you through wind real quick. I didn't cover the wind on this. I want to show you guys kind of how the wind isn't quite as big with this one. It's still going to blow that snow around though. So here's very calm wind when it starts on Saturday, and then you can see how it kind of ramps up a little bit. So we're talking gusts 20 to 25. Wind isn't going to be a huge issue with this. Here's the low working over. Okay, this is always fascinating in winter storms. When the low comes over, it's almost like the eye of a hurricane. And so we would have gusty wind on Saturday, but then Saturday night into Sunday, the wind would almost go calm for a little bit. I don't think it'll go calm, but it'll be very light for a little bit if that low passes over us. And so it would just be snow, and it would be really pretty on the trees waking up Sunday morning without that wind disturbing it. So I know we have some photographers here in the region. If you're a photographer, boy, Sunday morning may be a really nice one to see. And then that wind picks up. This is when the fluffy stuff, we get some blowing and drifting snow on Sunday. So that's that. Okay. Vicki, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Brian asked a good question. I'm supposed to travel from Crown Point to Kalamazoo on Saturday, leaving early morning, returning late afternoon. Gosh, Brian, that's a rough one. That's going to be rough. You know, leaving early, I don't think you're going to have any problems getting out of town early. But that coming back late afternoon, oh man, it's you're risking it. And I'm not saying it can't be done, Brian. You may be the best winter weather driver. You might be the worst. I don't know. I don't know your skill in terms of winter weather driving. It's just, if you could change on that day, I probably would. And I usually don't like to disrupt people's plans. I say just go for it. But I probably wouldn't go for it on Saturday, to be honest with you. Adam, I'm not too sure about that. Listen, if you go buy a plow for your tractor, you know this storm is going to miss us completely. That's what happens. If anyone gets a snowblower, don't buy a snowblower. If you want snow, don't buy a snowblower. Okay, as soon as you do, the snow misses us. That's what happened last couple winters. We had a couple region weather folks that bought snowblowers, and then everything missed us. So there's that. Thank you, Shelly. I appreciate it. Lisa's staying home. Okay, Ron is home too. Okay, Heather, you're traveling from Michigan on Saturday. Heather, the earlier you can leave, the better from Michigan. Okay. Karen says daughter's traveling home to North Carolina, leaving early Saturday. She should be okay, Karen, as long as she could stay ahead of it. Oh man, Kara, are you doing that? Are you doing that on Saturday? Hopefully not. Hopefully, I mean, Sunday's going to be rough too. And then you're going to run into the system, especially it's going to turn to kind of rainy in Ohio and Pennsylvania, but then it's going to turn back to snow. It should be a wet snow for areas like upstate New York and stuff. So be careful on that trip home. Maxwell, it's certainly possible. I could see it. If this low comes in as deep as the Euro is showing, all right, if that low's coming in as deep as the Euro is showing, I could see thunder snow with it. I could see a nice little band of snow right in here where we're getting some thunder and lightning, like right in here. We'll see. If it comes in more GFS style, I think it'll just be snowy, but we'll see. Awesome. I see some kids coming over for dinner, Darlene. That's great. Oh boy. Let's see. Ken is heading to Carlisle Sunday morning. I think it's just going to be messy then, Ken. It's still going to be snowing outside. Yeah, I don't think the roads get better really till Sunday afternoon and evening, and that's given. Well, like we need INDOT on it, you know. And if they're not, I don't think it gets better till Monday, to be honest. We'll see. Yeah, Marlene, in terms of kids going back to Purdue on Sunday, I think it's going to be messy on Sunday. Again, we're going to be in cleanup mode. We'll still have some snowflakes falling and some wind with the fluffy factor on Sunday. Should be improving as we go throughout the day, though. So every hour should get better on Sunday, but that doesn't mean it's going to be cleaned up. All right, I can't tell you how fast INDOT and local municipalities are going to clean. I just can't answer that. All right, it probably differs too. Let's see. Oh yes, Mark. Yeah, Maryville playing Friday in Indy for the football state championships. Yeah, I hope they don't stay down there and celebrate if they win. Let's get them home, right? Brian, you're welcome for sure. Jacqueline says, "What does Sunday look like from Lowell to Chattanooga?" Much better. So actually, we're looking at it here. So here's Sunday. We'll have snow here, okay, but once you get south of Indy, it'll just be kind of wet. You're probably taking 65 down to 40, I'm going to guess. Not that I know my national interstates or anything. Over to Chattanooga, yeah, so it'll be kind of wet the whole way, but once you get out of northern Indiana, we'll lose the snow factor. I think your toughest travel is going to be locally. So drive safe, Jacqueline. All right, you're welcome, Susan. Let's see, Jen coming home from Winnemac on Saturday. Okay, got it. Again, it's going to be tricky, especially the later in Saturday that you get. Alex traveling from Crown Point Saturday afternoon to Chicago for 60th birthday party. Awesome. And then traveling to Munster Sunday morning. Yeah, so I think Chicago is going to be about the same as us. We don't know quite where that epicenter is going to be in terms of snowfall totals, but the chances are the same for everyone to get, 6+ inches. We'll go 10+ at times. Confidently, I can say that. So I think it's going to be pretty tricky for you, Alex, coming back. I really do. That snow will still be going. We'll probably have something coming off the lake too. So that's that. Terry, careful traveling. I see your comment there. You got to work. We appreciate you working for sure. Just be careful getting there. We're going to have some snow around. Okay. Anastasia, we've got Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Son's supposed to go to scheduled drive from Hebron for, oh gosh, 10 a.m. looks okay. All right. The snow would be maybe moving in then with some light stuff, but 10 a.m. would be okay. If we're, let's say driving instructor decides to keep him for 8 hours because he needs some work or something. I don't know. It's going to get trickier, but the morning looks okay right now. It all depends on when that snow starts. And once it starts, it'll likely start on the light side. It shouldn't be too problematic for a couple hours. And then that heavy, it'll kind of ramp up in intensity as we go throughout the day. You're welcome for sure. Jeff doing the turkey trot. Jeff, you do that every year, I think. Yeah, it's going to be cold tomorrow. And that wind, ooh, as a runner, I hate the wind. I just hate it. DK, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Maxwell, you too, buddy. Allison's not a big fan of the snow. I know. And this December looks like we're going to stay on the snowy cold side of things, at least through mid-month. There might be a little change mid-month. And then we talked polar vortex. You've probably heard about that, but there's been a lot of stratosphere warming that displaces the polar jet, usually about 2 to 3 week lag time before that cold air really gets here. So we're looking at the potential for a very cold end of the month. And this is going kind of in line with our snowy cold winter that we're going to kick off here pretty soon. So for sure. You're absolutely welcome. Yes, no problem. Dina, let's take you. This will be our last question. I got pumpkin pie upstairs. The college kids want to go country line dancing Saturday night. This was not on their bingo card. That's the thing, Dina. When the kids come home from college, obviously they want to get together with their friends. They get kind of bored at home. I totally get it. So, man, if it's local, I'm sure I drove in snowstorms before. I don't want to ever send anyone out in that, but if it's local, could they do it? Maybe, but man, that's just risking it. We just don't want to do that. So just keep an eye on it, keep an eye on the roads. Obviously we'll be with you this weekend as well, but man, it's going to be, it certainly could be a decent system. So there's that. Al, thank you very much. Mark, happy Thanksgiving to you too, buddy. I appreciate the turkeys. All right, guys, we'll keep you updated. We're not done here. All right, we've got updates on the radio side tomorrow morning. Yes, we're doing radio tomorrow morning. X-Rock 103.9, Indiana 105.5, Z1 107.1. Regionweather.com's there for you as well. We'll have the update out as we go throughout the day tomorrow, and we'll probably do a few more lives between now and then. We're hosting tomorrow, as I mentioned, so we're not doing a live tomorrow, but we'll reconvene again on Friday, at least face-to-face, okay? You guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining me tonight. We'll keep you updated on this storm, and as always, I thank you for your trust. I appreciate all of you guys. I really do.